and welcome to Witch Hat Chats. Come on in and sit for a spell. We're sponsored by Evermoving We Rise, Moonlight Potions and Charms, and Saul Ravencraft, Wizard for Hire. I am your goddess host, Miss Nikki Kirby, and our co-host, I think he's somewhere around. He's either here or there, or maybe he is everywhere or nowhere to be found. His name is Saul Ravencraft. How you doing, Saul?
I am fantastic, Nikki. How are you today?
I am absolutely 100% amazing.
Nice. October is done. October was a lot of stuff and followed by some other stuff. And I've been doing my best to rise to occasions for the last week, and it's exhausting. But tonight is, as we do this, is Vault of Horror, and I'm looking forward to doing that, and everything else that comes next.
Well, good, good. So this month we honor our First Nations people because it is the First Nations month of honoring. So I like to honor them and mention that. I also like to honor and thank our military families because it is Military Families Month as well. Thank you for supporting our military and our veterans. So thank you so much. And we do have your sixth. So did you serve, Saul?
I did not. That just was not the place I was in my world. I have a lot of friends who served, but that I actually did almost go into the I guess it was ROTC when I was at UT, and they didn't really want me. So I might have done it, but he just didn't seem to feel like my goals were of any interest to the military. So I was not recruited. I guess if I gone into a grunt office, they would have snatched me up and sent me out somewhere to be exterminated. But yeah, that's the way it was. My father was in the Navy. So was my maternal grandfather, and a lot of my friends have a background in that. Spent time in Desert Shield and Desert Storm and such.
Yeah, many people in my family have actually served. I know my dad, he was in the Marines and the National Guard. And then my papa, he actually was in two wars. He was in World War II and in Korea. And he was in the cavalry, is what he was in. And the list goes on from there. So we do have
Sure.
military in our family as well. So, like I
Yeah.
said, we have your six, and we're proud of the military. So we honor you. I think there's somebody at the door.
It's Byron Ballard.
Oh, look who it is. It's Ashbro's Village Witch and the author of Small Magics. Oh my God, it's my sister.
Hey, girl, how are you?
I am awesome. How are you doing?
Good. Good.
So
Saul, how you doing?
Oh, about how you'd expect.
What does that mean? What does that even mean?
Well, actually, that's something that I've taken to saying. One, to see if people are paying any attention, and it's funny because you'll have some people that I'll say that and they'll go, oh, and you'll have other people that I say that they go, ooh. That gives me important information about how they view me.
Well, and maybe they view you through the lens of their own life right now, and they go, yeah, well, I get it. Yeah.
Possibly.
Gosh, hadn't it been a hard year?
Oh,
Well,
yes. Oh,
yeah, but
Not for you?
well, yes and no. I don't feel like I suffer on the same level that some people do because I don't work for someone else. So a lot of the tribulations that people are dealing with through corporate angst, I am pretty free from, and I'm using what I can do for my own purposes. Example, Sunday afternoon on my way to Curia Arcanum's House of Curiosities to do readings, somebody got in touch with me and said, hey, it looks like your website is down. And I said, okay. And so I went. It ended up being a very slow day, and so I was able to do some checking on some stuff, and it turned out there was a drive issue going on my server. And so as soon as I was free of my obligation, I got to work, and I stayed up to about 3:30 that morning getting things fixed. But it was my stuff getting fixed. It was my skill being applied to fixing my stuff. And when it was done, and I had to do some things very much by hand, which is not fun. But I did it because I could. And I tweaked a few protocols going forward to keep it from being this bad again. So that was all good stuff, but it was hard stuff. But I was able to handle it myself. I didn't need anybody's permission. I didn't need anybody to teach me about my priorities and anything like that. I just did the work and I got it done. And you know, that makes me a badass motherfucker. And I like that. I like that I can do that. And I find that while I'm still finding my path, I really have a lot going for me and able to be very proactive for myself. And so while people are sitting around, I mean, I don't mean this to sound like everyone's just weak and confused, but you know, while people are sitting around going, you know, why won't they let me? I'm doing something, and it may not be the most productive something, right? But I'm doing something, and I'm doing something on my own behalf, and I'm doing something on behalf of people that I care about. And so that makes me feel powerful. Even though not all my predictions are coming true, right? I don't feel helpless. Maybe a little low on some resource, but I don't feel helpless. You know, I'm doing something, and I don't have a master.
Yes. Yes.
And so, you know, from my perspective, yeah, there's plenty of room for growth in my world. Right. And no denial of that. But I'm walking my own path, and I'm walking the path that I chose ultimately, right? The circumstances that put me there were not exactly my choice, but I chose what to do with my circumstances. And I've been on that road for 9 years now. I'm still here.
Nice.
Right.
So
Nice.
that's how I feel.
So Byron,
Excellent.
you are just in time for our divination.
Oh boy, should I get my cards out?
Oh no, it's our tea divination that we have. So
But you can get your cards out if you want to. You're our guest here. You can do whatever you want.
They are always near me, always.
Put your feet on the table.
yeah, just sit back and relax, hon. So as everybody knows, I drink positive energy tea. And we've got a divination today from Omar Khayyam, who's a mathematician. And here's his quote. There was a door to which I found no key. There was a veil through which I might not see. Ooh. Ooh. So, wise ones, how does that apply?
Or are you describing my life? I'm at the door. I'm here.
Get the keys.
I'm just wrapped up in something.
So how would that apply to the modern version of what is known as the veil?
Well, don't just do that, Nikki. I mean, I think everybody listening, everybody watching is going to have a different idea of what you just said. So let's talk a little bit more about about this veil thingy.
The veil thingy? Is that what it is now? Veil thingy? Come on. Let's do that. Veil thingy. Veil thingy.
Y'all are so funny. Yeah, I think we have the sort of conventional received wisdom that there is a boundary between the worlds, the dimensions of matter versus spirit. And we have been taught that in modern paganism from the get-go. And I got to be honest with you, up here in the mountains, we haven't had a veil literally in decades. So the spirit world, the physical world, the material world, and the spirit world are intermingling all the time. And they have been. And I have to wonder for myself, was that a piece of the talk about the concept of the veil? Was that something to keep us contained and controlled and to keep us from opening broadly to spirit communication and to the spirits around us? And was it a falsehood all along? I mean, has there ever been a veil, really? I was a dear friend of mine's husband died, and he was part of a particular pagan spiritual tradition. So his people were coming from all over the country to do his funeral rites. And one of them, I talked to one of them, and they asked me if I would participate, even though I'm not in their tradition, and do this little piece and about ripping through the veil, opening the veil so that their loved one could go through. And I went, I got to be honest with you, there's not a veil here. And he laughed and he assumed I was stupid, as many people do, that must be insensitive and I didn't feel the veil the way, of course, the more enlightened beings in his tradition would. So they all arrive, and it's the morning of the sad memorial, and we're putting food out and doing all those things we do. And I can see this guy who I don't know. I've only talked to him on the phone. And I can see him. He's just kind of looking around puzzled. And then about 20 minutes later, I was pointed out to him, and he came up to me and he said, I just don't believe it. I mean, you're right. There's not a veil here. And I went, there's not. Hadn't been for a long time. So that's going to be my introduction to what we're talking about, is that here we have the almost completely free flowing between matter and spirit, so that we are surrounded by not only the spirits of the land, the spirits of the mountains, ancestral spirits, the spirit beings that are variously that I call the good neighbors. They're all here, in and out, in and out, in and out.
You know, with me, I feel that way too. Even in California, I felt that way. So it's not just here; it's also in California. And no matter where I lived, I've lived in Quebec, in Canada. It was that way. No matter where I have been, no matter where I've traveled. So I don't know if it's where you live is where the effect is, or maybe it's the person as well as the land itself. Possibly, because if one person is saying, and let's say you both live in a certain part of the world, and one person is saying, well, there's a veil there, and the other person is saying, no, there's not, because I'm seeing this person, they're standing right before me, and the other person is saying, no, there's a veil there. And I'm like, no, there's not, because since I was a child, I've been able to see spirits, see them, hear them, however they want to communicate with me. And like I said, it doesn't matter where I'm at, because I have traveled across this country. I've traveled up and down the East Coast into Canada. So I'm not sure, like I said, if it's where you're located, because Ohio is the same way. I've been in Ohio. I've been in New York. I've been up and down all around the South. So, and you know, I've lived in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, all of there. So I can't really say it's by land necessarily, or is it by person? So if that guy is saying it's by land, then I have to kind of disagree with that, because I haven't found land that the veil is there.
Well, but for this person, wherever he was, he felt the veil. But when he got here, he didn't feel the veil. So it's not like he didn't have a perception of what the boundary feels like. It's that he felt it where he lived, but he didn't feel it here.
I know, that's kind of strange. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just kind of wonder if it's the land, or if it's a person, or maybe it's a combination.
Yeah, maybe.
All right,
how about you, Saul? Saul, how about you? Do you feel it down where you are?
Well, this kind of conversation always makes me feel a little underdeveloped. I have a lot of people of my acquaintance for which spirits are very tangible. They hang out all over, they crowd the room, they have lunch with them, they watch movies together, they play pachisi. It's just a whole host of friends from afar that are just constantly there. My spirit experiences have been much more subtle and ethereal. I have not had the kinds of experiences that the two of you describe, where you know, fully formed apparitions interrupt me and command my attention and interact with me. It's a very, very subtle interaction that happens. So so when it gets into this area, this is a challenging spot for me, and I wrestle with my skepticism on this sort of thing, because I haven't had the experience that you describe. Does that mean you didn't? One time I would have said yes. I would have tried to call bullshit on it, but I've grown beyond that. And I recognize that I just haven't had all the experiences that there are. But, you know, for me, and this could have something to do with my pathway into this. I grew up skeptical and shielded and all of that, and I have worked to open that. Whereas a lot of people I know, they started open and that's all they've known. So I don't know what I don't know, if that makes any sense.
It does. And that brings up something that I think is really interesting in the modern esoteric community, is that I am not seeing a whole lot of people who are saying, in my experience, this is the thing that happened. I'm seeing a lot more people who are really kind of hard-edged about it, saying, no, that's not how it happens. And it feels to me like, I mean, that's obviously a kind of a gatekeeping thing, but it's also a way to shut people down and shut down what could potentially be a really interesting conversation by just saying, oh, no, that never happens.
So with that, we need to go to commercial and listen to our wonderful sponsors, and we will be back with Witch Hat Chats. Stay tuned. Anybody can tell you what is on a tarot or oracle card. What matters is seeing beyond what others may not be able to see and help the client to uncover what lies in the mist. What do readings from Moonlight Potions and Charms do? Wednesday, I did this ancestor reading, and it was an amazing reading. And it was a detailed reading. And I remember talking to this customer's ancestors, and it was so delightful, and he wanted some questions to be answered about the magic in his family because he didn't know. And his family was mostly like most of our families are, you know, how everything is like hush hush when it comes to the magic in his family. And he wanted to know, who can he actually talk to about the history of the magic in his family? And I was able to give him specifically who he can go to talk to about that. What particular deity he can actually go to be able to help him with this. And it was just an amazing reading, and talking to his ancestors. They were such a delight, and they told me so much about this customer. It was just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful reading for him. And I was just so happy to be able to give him this wonderful reading. It's really amazing to be able to give people these readings, these products that's really going to help them, and be able to give back to the community, because this is what Moonlight Potions and Charms is about. We want to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. That is what we are all about. It's to help you to do that. Book now and allow our wonderful staff to take care of your spiritual reading needs. And there is so much more in our Wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
I'm Saul Ravencraft, co-host of Witch Hat Chats. I understand just how confusing and chaotic it can be to open to a path of magic and manifestation. Everything seems to turn on its head. I want to be an ally as you find the way upon your path. My studio setup will let us do readings, coaching, and exploration virtually, just as though you were sitting across the table from me. One size does not fit all, and we will work together to craft the right approaches to build your practice, your confidence, and your power using the tools of divination, magical works, and spirit connections. It's never too late to embrace a new path and emerge empowered. Go to texasmojoman.com and select Contact to begin. There's a message now. Let's get started working on your very good fortune.
Have you wondered what spirituality is? Spirituality is limitless, as it does not contain any boundaries on beliefs or practices. Spirituality's most important component is personal experience and allows one to explore it freely. Evermoving We Rise is a spiritual moving tradition, as our name is our lifestyle, because we are persistently rising and moving forward. We realize that everyone's spiritual journey is extremely personal, but more easily traveled with reinforcement. We'll teach you to become friends with your shadow, emerge your authentic self, and give you time and space to develop your own spirituality. And when situations bump back, you'll have the entire community behind you, as we are a magical family who work to sustain each other. Discover the benefits of working within a society dedicated to helping you grow on your personal path. Visit us on our website, Linktree, or Facebook page and discover why we don't fit in the box.
Welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. I am Saul Ravencraft, and I am here with Miss Nikki Kirby, and one of our favorite village witches, Byron Ballard, who just put a book out, Small Magics. I've been enjoying it. I got started in it, and then October happened, and there was just no anything. Unless you'd had the audiobook out. There was plenty of driving time.
Yeah, I don't know if the audiobook is out yet or not, because they don't tell me. I have to go and research it to find out if it's out. I didn't even know they were doing an audiobook this time. But
audiobooks are they saved my life, because eyeball reading is much more challenging for me now. But I've always got an audiobook going.
Well, especially in October, we all are so profoundly busy. I'll just say it, in October. So that would be helpful driving around.
But I am definitely enjoying the book. It's interesting how the reflection on fundamentals is always a good practice. That's why teaching people helps you grow stronger in whatever it is that you do, because you have to deal with those early ideas, those early misunderstandings, and address them in as many different ways as you have people trying to learn it. That's everybody sees things through their own lens. But I'm enjoying the gentle conversational way. I like to feel that if you and I were to sit down over a glass of mulled wine to talk about this stuff, that the conversation would be very similar.
Absolutely. I started teaching this book as a class, which I referred to as simple practical magic. That it's the building block of most magical practice, the very basics. And we live in a world where people are getting their information on TikTok and other reels from people who probably don't have a lot of experience in practicing actual magic. So I started teaching a class about that, and I found it was so interesting because it's the basics. And I had a couple of pretty high church ceremonialists in one of my classes, and they were appalled by some of the things I said, of course, because I'm a folk magician. But at the end, they said there were things that they had done early on in their working life that they hadn't done in ages, because they just hadn't thought of it. So it was lovely for them to go back to beginner's mind, which is something I talk about in the book, and to really figure out step by step what it is they were doing and what it is they wanted to accomplish. And that was really interesting. It's interesting to hear that. But I don't fight with my publisher. In this case, it's Llewellyn. about titles because they're going to title it whatever they think is going to sell, to be honest. But I was like, small magics, really? You call the primary building stones of any magical practice that's small to you? The ability to, I don't know, to harvest energy and utilize it through the force of your will, that's small to you? Okay, whatever.
Well, it helps people find it, and the people that are already looking for it, they don't care what the title is. They're just looking for the words Byron Ballard on the cover.
Oh, you're sweet, Saul. Thanks. I don't know how true that is, but I will take that on.
I bet you got a few on that list.
You know, nobody really cares about the title anymore, Byron. They're looking for your name. That's all they care about.
Oh, if only that were true, but thank you.
I mean, come on, Byron. You can write a title that says Raining Cats and Dogs, and they would still buy it. They wouldn't care what the title was.
Oh, you're funny.
It could say "fuck you," and you still would buy it. They don't care.
Y'all are too funny.
That should be the name of your cursing book.
Oh no, the name of my cursing book, though I will never write it, is Willful Bane, The Joy of Hex. And so I'm sure somebody will steal that title now, which is fine, because you can't copyright a title. Go ahead, enjoy.
I swear, Byron, you're not right.
And never have been.
But you're not wrong either.
I hope that's true. I do have to tell y'all about some other exciting thing that's happening for me is that next July, I'm going to lead a trip to Cornwall. And I'm going to get to go to all my favorite holy places in Cornwall. I'm going to get to drink scrumpy and take a group of people with me. And if people want more information about that, they can go to renadventures.com, REN adventures.com, and they will find it. And it's going to be a fun week or so of Tintagel and Arthur and Scrumpy. Did I say Scrumpy before? And some Cornish witches we're going to talk to. It's just going to be great fun. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh, awesome.
While editing my next book.
Of course. How many books do you have that's coming out this next? I'm just curious.
Well, the one that's being edited now is book number 8. That is a standalone book from me, but I've been in dozens of anthologies.
Yeah, the latest was that North American Folk Magic?
No, the latest, and let me just reach over so I get the title completely right. The latest anthology I've been in is called Women's Sovereignty and Body Autonomy Beyond Roe v. Wade. And it's an anthology from Girl God Books, and that will be backwards. I'm sorry. How can I make that work? There we go. Still backwards. Anyway, I'll put it in the chat so y'all have it. That's the most recent anthology I've in. And I've written forewords for several books in the past 2 or 3 months, something like that.
Mm. Oh, great.
So yeah, I stay busy.
You're always busy doing something. I mean, you've been so busy, you and me haven't been able to get together, and we're just an hour apart.
I know, it's so funny. You will say, hey, I'm coming up to Asheville on such and such a date. And I'll go, yeah, not in town.
Yeah, and I go, figures.
Figures. The usual.
My eyes.
Golly, it's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. No, literally roll my eyes. I'm like, okay, are you going to be in town this day? And you're like, nope, I'm flying to this place. And I'm like, okay.
Up to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, flying has not been much fun lately. I mean, it wasn't bad this time, but
but I still love you anyway.
Oh, you're so sweet.
And I know you miss me.
You know I do. I mean, I could miss you if you didn't text me every damn minute.
Oh, I don't text you every damn minute. You're the one.
Okay, I finally have this thing in the chat. There we go.
Okay, I'll put it down. I'll put it down in the notes for you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm home until February when I go up to Gettysburg of all places for a thing called Mythicon, which is the Midwinter Fairy Festival. Should be fun. I'll teach some classes. I don't dress up in the super fancy fairy stuff though.
Oh, why not? You'd be so cute.
I dress like a troll woman.
Oh.
Yeah, or like a Norwegian farmer girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm not going to try to walk around and teach in some damn ball gown with 10-foot wings. You do know me, don't you?
Yes, I know you, but you don't have to be in a ball gown, honey.
Oh, these costumes are extraordinary. Extraordinary. They make Ren fairs look like thrift shop bargain basement places. Just amazing. Amazing. So I will not be that person. I am going there to work, not to show off my wardrobe. But I'm relieved to have a few months not traveling. That is a blessing to me. Because I've been, as you know, I've been on the road all year, literally for 10 months. Part of that was in Scotland, so I can't complain about that. So just like next year, part of it's going to be in Cornwall and England. So I'm not complaining about that, but you know, traveling.
Yep, and that's all you do, honey. Just travel.
It is. How was Samhain for you all? Busy, I'm assuming.
Well, it kind of was. And for me, I did some divination. So I do two types of divination on Samhain. One is numerology, and I got the number 3, which is a very important number, apparently.
Are there any numbers that are not important?
Well, the next 2 nights is with because I am part of New Orleans Voodoo. You got the next 2 nights, which is the Feast of the Ghee. And of course, I do numerology as well as the tarot cards on those nights. And I got 1 for the first night, and the next night I got 11. And with 1, it means the number of leadership and determination. And 11 happens to be one of the spiritual numbers, and it's a destination number. So it means basically I'm going to have a damn good year.
Good. You deserve a good year. You have had several very, very hard years lately. So bless you. I hope you have a beautiful, gorgeous year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be the year of the dragon next year. And I happen to be a dragon.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So maybe we'll actually get to see one another next year.
Yeah, I'm determined not to travel so much next year because it just wore me out. And I didn't get to be in my garden.
Me.
What?
I said, if you travel, you got to see me.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're just down the hill, aren't you?
I'm literally an hour away.
I know.
So much.
On a good road. An hour away on a good road.
Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Well, I had some fun right before Halloween. I was invited to do a workshop or a talk. I guess it was technically a talk about the origins of tarot as Italian playing cards at a local wine shop. So they sold it that way, and you came in and you got a little snack and you got a glass of wine and you got me talking about tarot. And then in the last sort of 15 minutes of it, when people would ask questions, I'd come over to where they were, answer their questions as best I could, and then I would flip open a card, put my finger on it, and read it for them. And they were just, oh, because people expect tarot to be a parlor game. You will meet a tall, dark, handsome stranger. You will be, and when you look at them and go, this business venture of yours is going to fail if you don't get the details right. And they go, what, how did you know about that? Because I get cards. I'm reading your cards. So that was fun. And are you finding that people, both of you, because you both read, are you finding people coming to you now, your tarot clients, are really, really in kind of desperate need for some clarity and information?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to get the kind of people who'd say, oh, I'm just doing this for fun. Just tell me what the cards are going to tell me. Now they're like, oh my God, let me tell you what's happening in my life. Is this going to change? It's really it's a desperate feel. They feel desperate.
Yeah, they do.
Saul, how about you?
Oh, most of the conditions under which I read are places where people are psi-curious. And so I don't have a lot of people coming into situations like that. I don't have a regular clientele. Most people, they see me once, they experience that. It's not what they expect it to be. And they go away thinking some thoughts. But I don't necessarily, I haven't developed the presence yet for people to seek me out in that way so much. A few, yeah, I've got a few that come to me with something specific. But my approach in general is the way that I approach everything is there's always a way. And so a lot of what my style is trying to find the moving parts that you can move. Even because people can always do something. You're never helpless. You're never powerless, but you may have to do something. You might have to grow a pair and be bolder about things. So I don't know. I don't feel like I'm answering your question at all, but I've said words.
It's interesting then. Yeah, it's interesting the different dynamics of basically with the three of us all read cards, but I guess situationally it's different. I've been reading cards since I was 12, which means I've been reading for 55 years, one way or the other. So that is something I have always carried with me, that I'm a card reader, in addition to all the other things I've been. So yeah, people do, like you were saying, Saul, people do seek me out. They go, oh, you read cards. Well, can you read for me? And I used to not read long distance, but I worked on that, and I'm good at that now. How about you, Nikki? Have you got regular tarot clients that come to you fairly often or at regular intervals?
I've got a few that will do that. Most of the time it's people who are curious or who just happen to be find me for some reason. And they're like, do you read cards? Find out that I own a shop, and I'm like, do you read cards? I'm like, well, yeah, I read cards. Well, they're like, well, I want a card reading. I said, okay, which one do you want? Because it's like, okay, there's like different types of card readings now. It's not just one type of card reading. What kind of card reading do you want? And here is where you can go to see which kind of card reading that you want. Because I do different ones. I don't do just a standard anymore. And they talk to me, and okay, we do it because I've done ancestor card readings. which that takes a lot out of me. A lot out of me. And
Ancestors have a lot to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to where I only do like maybe 1 or 2 a day, because when their whole ancestral line just comes at you, and then I'm having to really raise the energy, it's really hard to deal with, especially here lately, because I keep trying to take care of myself and I don't do it sometimes. Yes, I admit it. I don't do it sometimes, and I'm trying to take my own damn advice.
Okay. So take my advice. Do it. Take care of yourself. I've been telling that to more and more of my tarot clients. I am saying to them, this is your time. You, not your kids, not your kid who's going through whatever. Oh, yeah, I'm really sorry, but it's not about that. It's about you. You. And it's so hard for people to hear that, because they want to do their self-care kind of on the side. So here's my primary focus is taking care of my family, my business, whatever and I'll do a little bit of this up here. And I'm like, no, let this be for you. November. No, and no. Learn how to set some good, strong boundaries and let it go. Give yourself some time, because I'm seeing people burn out. They shouldn't be burning out.
This year, even in the kinds of things that I've been doing, the self-care message has been very prevalent.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'll bring up is that if your foundation is not strong, how are you going to be able to hold anybody else up? You can't put yourself last.
No, and you can't pour from an empty vessel.
Yeah. Then you just become food.
Toothpicks in it.
What?
You can put toothpicks in it. I'm just kidding. I'm being a smart ass. Okay.
You are being a smart ass. Be serious. No. Do whatever you want, because it's November. No.
It's the holy month for me, okay? It's the holy month because it's my birthday month.
Right.
So, all right. So, Miss Byron, where can our people reach you?
They can reach me at my website, which is myvillagewitch.com. They can find me in social media on Facebook as Byron Ballard, on Twitter /X as Byron Ballard, and on Instagram as Byron Ballard. And yeah, that's it. They can find me on Tuesdays, most weeks, at Asheville, Raven, and Crone. And I'm sorry, my answer machine just kicked in, and no one's going to be there because it's just a robot. They call me all day long, robots do. And that's not me being paranoid. That's just America. So that's how people can reach me. And I'm taking a little time off. So if I don't answer your email immediately, forgive me. But it's November. November.
Well, thank you for being on the show, honey.
Always a delight. Good to see you, and good to see Saul.
And you know I love you.
Back at you.
You and all your crazy ass ways.
Yep. My wicked ways and my big red lips.
Mwah. All right. So that's all for our show today. Embrace your power, support your community, and keep your fuzzy babies, your family, friends, and yourself safe. And have an absolute magical week. We'll see you next time.
I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk. Nikki, Kirby with that black stone. I agree, Evermoving We Rise. Laughing so will the beautiful mind. I give you blessings under moonlight. I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk.